Ah, the good old days, when all we had to do was take a bite out of the earth beneath our feet, strike it rich, and build an empire. All it took was a little grit, a lot of work, and the right rock formation. Maybe that's why we still call it North Carolina, Mineral State, USA.
There's gold in them hills, boy. Nuggets the size of your fist. Never seen nothing like it. And rubies, I tell you. There's rubies as big as a hen's egg, just laying there waiting to be found. Silver, boy. Shiny as a glimmer in your eye. Brighter than the sun itself.
It used to be easy to find one's fortune in North Carolina soil. You could see the money gleam in the sun. But as the precious gems became more scarce, miners realized that true riches, like beauty, are found beneath the surface. This is North Carolina's true wealth, earth filled with non-metallic minerals. They may not look as pretty as gold, but they're every bit as valuable to modern society. Most of us don't realize the effects minerals and their products have on our lives. Everything in the modern home ties back to mineral resources, except wood and agricultural products. Automobiles, soap, appliances, cosmetics, paint, tires, bricks, floor wax, pottery, bottles, adhesives, toys, office supplies. The very buildings we live and work in are derived from North Carolina's mineral resources. There are over 300 varieties of rocks and minerals in North Carolina. The state continues to rank first among states producing feldspar, lithium minerals, scrap mica, and olivine. North Carolina is within the top 5 states mining phosphates and clay. The geologic story of North Carolina is very complex, involving the entire eastern United States. The geological timescale involves 4 basic eras in which North Carolina's minerals were formed. The first of these eras is the Precambrian, which began nearly 3 billion years ago. During the Precambrian age, the Earth's surface is imagined to have been a mass of volcanic activity unable to support life. Excessive heat and pressure altered the rocks to metamorphic types. The Paleozoic era began as the Precambrian ended. Metamorphism of older rocks continued. Erosion wore down the volcanic mountains. It was during this reshaping process that gold, talc, lithium, pyrophyllite, feldspars, mica, and olivine formed beneath the surface of North Carolina. These minerals are mined in more than 20 counties today and play an important role in the state economy. The word Mesozoic means middle life. During the 200 million years of this era, dinosaurs dominated the earth. The Appalachian Mountains continued to erode until they were only a few hundred feet high. This erosion, in part, left the North Carolina earth rich in clays and shale. The current geologic period is the Cenozoic. The earth as we now know it developed during this period. The Alps and the Himalaya mountains were elevated to their present heights, as were the Rockies. The Appalachian mountain range was re-elevated and once again eroded. It was during this period of weathering and erosion that phosphates were deposited in North Carolina. Nearly every county in the state produces at least one important mineral. whether it's as common as stone or sand and gravel, or as uncommon as olivine and gemstones. Gone is the day of the lone prospector, armed simply with a pick and shovel, prepared to discover a fortune in minerals. Most of this country's natural wealth has been skimmed away by pioneer miners using primitive methods. Minerals are limited resources. They cannot be replaced annually like a farmer's crop. No human effort can reproduce on any large scale the conditions of heat and pressure which nature used to create these minerals. Today, modern technology and advanced equipment are needed to reach the lower grade ores that feed America's thirst for mineral products. The two best known forms of mining are surface and underground mining. The depth of the ore usually determines the method. Mining in North Carolina is primarily surface mining. Once ore is discovered, geologists examine the area by soil sampling and core drilling into the earth to discover the size of the deposit and whether the ore is pure enough to be economically mined. When the geologists complete their study, engineers begin work on plans for the mine. The depth of the ore, terrain, and composition of the earth are important factors in determining how the site will be mined. These engineering plans will be followed faithfully during the entire mining process. The actual mining begins with giant hydraulic shovels scraping away the soft overburden and exposing the hard rock below. Huge hydraulic large-hole rotary drills, equipped with noise and dust reduction units, bore out holes in the rock for explosives. No electronic devices are permitted in the blasting zone as a safety precaution to prevent accidental explosions. After the powder charges have been set, the entire pit is evacuated. Minutes before the blast, sirens sound an alarm to the entire plant. It alerts even the busiest workers of an upcoming explosion. After the debris settles, mammoth earth loaders, haulers, and cranes go to work. The rocks containing ore are taken to a crushing plant where they are broken down into workable sizes, 1 inch and smaller, for easy processing in the flotation mill. Once the rocks are crushed, they are taken to a mill and ground to sand size for flotation separation of the ore from the waste material. This material is stockpiled and sold as byproducts to the glass industry. The final product seems like a drop in the bucket compared to the amount of earth that has been moved. But in the mining industry, very little is wasted. Even rock not containing ore can sometimes be used for road beds. The sand and gravel industry also plays an important role in the Old North States economy. Without sand and gravel, many highways and buildings across the state would not exist. The method by which sand and gravel is mined, although still classified as surface mining, differs from open pit mining. Huge drag lines scrape away the overburden, exposing sand and gravel below. These minerals are known as aggregates. The aggregates are accessible enough to be mined without blasting. The aggregates are scooped up by the drag line and taken to a mill where they are washed several times to eliminate impurities. A safety-conscious mining operation is essential to the success of any mine. No one is permitted onto the mining site without safety glasses, steel-tipped boots, and a hard hat. First aid stations can be found at several locations around the mining site. Even the most experienced miners must attend seminars on safety and correct techniques. Every mine in the United States is under the jurisdiction of the U.S. Mine Safety and Health Administration. Representatives visit the mines several times a year and conduct full inspections. Few people understand the pages of strict regulations that mining operations must adhere to. Irate citizens are sometimes quick to complain about mining operations. Mining is a process in which proper restraints must be taken, or environmental damage can result. Some parts of the country have suffered from these damages in the past. In recent years, the American public's concern has become increasingly noticeable. There are millions of acres of unused land that people would welcome for mineral exploration. But mining must be done where minerals exist, not where the public would like them to exist. The state of North Carolina realized that there was a danger of allowing uncontrolled mining operations to continue. In 1971, the North Carolina General Assembly enacted a Surface Mining Control Bill. The bill requires that if a mining operation in the state disturbs more than 1 acre of land per year, it must obtain a permit. The permit is issued only after the mining operator submits an acceptable plan of reclamation for the land to be mined. A surety bond must be posted to assure the state that the operator will conduct the reclamation as agreed. This legislation now assures that mining in North Carolina will not endanger the environment. Mining operations established before 1971 are not covered in the legislation. But many mining operations have taken it upon themselves to voluntarily reclaim the land. Golf courses, athletic fields, parks, and lakes are just a few of the results of successful reclamation programs. North Carolina's vast resources have barely been tapped. There's a wealth of minerals below the surface of the Tar Heel State just waiting for some little boy to come along and maybe, just maybe, start the next gold rush.